Hey guys, man, Viking Toy Channel. Uh, kind of doing something different because something different's happening today, and it's gonna be the draft. And granted, I'm a survivor of the first draft. I've lived through it. I've seen it. I was excited for it the first time it was coming around, and all the hoopla and the hype behind it. And now it's gonna help all the smaller guys and this and that. And it really didn't do that. It just kind of elevated the top stars, and they got put onto two different brands, and you were basically one of the four top stars of either brand, and there was a couple sprinkled mid card guys that were what do I used to call them, semi-main eventers. So like they could be placed in a feud with whoever was the champion out of those four at any given time, and that might have been about 4 to 8 guys, and all the rest were caught in the aftermath of those guys. Um, Tag team wrestling didn't really exist then. If I remember right, one brand was supposed to have the women's title, and one brand was supposed to have the cruiserweight. And the cruiserweight division basically just disappeared at some point because they didn't give a shit about it anymore. And if you remember right, the Green Death, Hornswoggle, retired the belt. So as you can see, my skepticism on this runs a little deep. It didn't deliver on the promises that were made. God, how long ago was that? 15 years ago? 14? I don't know. It just, oh shit. It just didn't bloom the way they thought it would. Or the way they said it would. It just was the same people on top regurgitated onto different brands, and they were trying to make. And all the brand was done for back then is because they were looking to make another touring brand. That is really all they were doing it for. They did not care about elevating talents. They were trying to make another touring brand out of SmackDown, but that never happened. They didn't even attempt to. And eventually ECW was born out of that, and that became the touring brand with SmackDown. And they didn't really put a lot of effort into ECW either. And they didn't really bring a lot of the talent from ECW in there. A lot of the guys they brought in when it launched were nobodies. So, of course, it wasn't successful, but I'm starting to ramble. I just have a couple of interesting things already that's being posted about the draft today. Is one major name that isn't listed for the draft. And it's probably got you wondering, who could that be? And it's The Undertaker. He's not listed among eligible talents who can be drafted. So, of course, he's going to just show up and go to whatever brand he feels like beating somebody up on. Paul Heyman is not listed in association with Brock Lesnar. That doesn't mean anything. Heyman's not going anywhere from Lesnar. I have heard that Lesnar might be picking up more, that Heyman might be picking up more talents, but they're not separating those two guys. Injured talents are not going to be eligible in the draft, so like Nikki Bella, Emmy, Luke Harper, whoever else, they're not eligible, so we won't see their names in the draft, which will save time anyway. They're not important. Kane is listed as the Demon Kane persona. Whatever. How much time does this guy got left anyway? The Wyatt family members are all listed as separate single competitors, and that's normal. All the tag teams were always listed as separate competitors, but they all managed to stay together. So I'm sure if they're doing that, the club is probably the same way too. Lucha Dragons, for example, are listed as singles competitors. Okay. Now, here's the basic layout. Well, before I get to that, the WWE has already announced that 6 top talents from NXT are moving up through the roster through the draft. And I already write today on Twitter that Finn Balor is once again teasing his move up to the main roster. And I guess wherever they were a night or two ago in Kentucky or somewhere, they had a big 10-man match. And then that 10-man match was Bailey, American Alpha, Baylor, Nakamura. I want to say Samoa Joe, but that wouldn't make any sense. And of course they won. They were fighting, I don't know who it was, the Revival. The girl on their team was Alexis Bliss. But at the end of the match, he's like, woo! He got on the mic, he's like, can you guys feel the breeze or the draft in here? And everybody started chanting his name, blah, 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 blah. And he hinted that everybody involved in his match was getting drafted. Which I don't believe, because all I'm reading is Nakamura is scheduled for a title run in NXT before they bring him up. But in all essence, I could care about that. I looked up Nakamura's origins on YouTube, and he's not old, but come on, they can't keep him there much longer in NXT. I mean, like, he fought Brock Lesnar in 2004 after he left the WWE in Japan. He fought Kurt Angle in 2007. This is because he's a huge talent. He fought Kurt Angle to unify the IWGP title and, I don't know, New Japan's title in 2007. He's been around the block. He's a huge veteran. He's not a young dog. He's probably in his 30s. They got to do something with him. If they do bring him up in the draft, great. But I don't, right now, I find it really hard to believe that he's being moved up. But technically, he should be. But anyway. So 6 NXT talents are supposed to be brought up. Now, the WWE laid the following ground rules down for the draft. Number 1 is Raw's going to pick first. Not a shock. Raw gets 3 picks for every 2 SmackDown receives, as they are a 3-hour show versus a 2-hour show. It still doesn't sound right. You can fill the roster up afterwards. Tag teams will count as 1 pick unless one specific member is wanted by a brand. Well, that must mean the end of the Lucha Dragons then, if Sin Cara and Kalisto are labeled as single competitors. WWE has announced the following talents that are eligible to be drafted in alphabetical order. AJ Styles, Alberto Del Rio, Apollo Crews, Baron Corbin, The Big Show, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, Cesaro, Jericho, Darren Young with Bob Backlund, Dean Ambrose, champion, Demon Kane, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, Jack Swagger, John Cena, Kalisto, Kevin Owens, Mark Henry, Neville, Randy Orton. Wow, I didn't think he was going to be in the actual draft. Roman Reigns, Rusev with Lana, U.S. State Champion. Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, excuse me, Sheamus, Cesaro, Sin Cara, Cesaro, The Miz with Maurice, Titus O'Neil, Zack Ryder, Breezango, Enzo and Cash. So they're not splitting Enzo up and Cash. All those fucking rumors. See, I'm getting excited. All those internet rumors that they're splitting them up, giving them single runs. It's not happening. They're in the tag team division here, labeled as 1 competitor. You pick one, you get them both. So that's the end of that. I knew they weren't splitting them up. Gallows and Anderson. Golden Truth. Shining Stars. Epico and Primo. Social Outcasts. All 3 of them get drafted together. The Ascension. The Dudley Boys. New Day. And they are all listed together. So they're not splitting the New Day up either, guys. All those internet rumors. All that jabberjaw. And yeah, see, I told you. And they're the tag team champs, of course. The Usos and the Vaudevillains. Females, Alicia Fox, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Dana Brooke, Eva Marie, Naomi, Natalia, Paige, Sasha Banks, and Summer Rae. Doesn't that division seem like it should be a lot bigger? I know Cameron's gone, but I don't know. There's a few girls missing. I know they don't get TV time, but whatever. So that's interesting, and that's not really a huge roster. So, if they really have these surprise guys coming back, you know, all the internet talk of all these guys they've approached, like MVP and Curtis Hawkins. Curtis Hawkins, did I say it? Or Hawkins? What's wrong with me? Supposedly they signed Tajiri back. I hope they did. It'd be nice to see him again, the old buzzsaw. If they sign these guys, I'm still wondering how they're going to do this. I know they didn't get Jeff Hardy. He signed like a 2-year deal yet with TNA. It would be nice if Kurt Angle. I hope they get Kurt Angle. That'd be the biggest pop of the night. But if they really did go out and get these guys, I don't know. If they're not eligible in the draft, maybe they're doing something different, like surprise draft picks or something. Maybe they have a side bowl or a side bingo, bingo machine thing. And I'm wondering if they're still doing that. Remember, there'd be a bingo machine thing they spun around and pull a name out. That used to bug the crap out of me. But I'm wondering how they're supposed to be doing this with all these extra names, unless these guys are just going to show up after the draft, like it's SmackDown, and Brian Hawkins versus whatever. And everybody will just get it pop that way, but it kind of takes away from the draft. It would be a lot more, because how does the NFL describe those guys not drafted? Not prospects. Oh, somebody can tell me. I'm having a brain fart. I don't know. But I would be curious. I want to see, like, surprise guys like that pop up. Like, drafted Tajiri, Kurt Angle. Free agents. There you go. Free agents. See, my brain still works. So maybe they'd have, like, a free agent bin or something, and they'd spin that every couple of picks, and surprise, surprise, so-and-so's back. But I don't know. That's... Maybe it would make this a lot better if they did. And another thing that really is going to start irking me about this is because once a year they'd start doing the draft again, and they do trades, and they have that stupid Team SmackDown versus Raw crap that was really nothing to be excited about. My idea, if they do this crap, they need to bring back like Night of Champions. And it's Raw versus SmackDown. I think I've talked about this in previous videos. And it doesn't have to be titles on the line, but it would be Raw champ versus SmackDown champ. SmackDown tag team champs versus Raw champs. IC champ versus US. Obviously, we can't have a women's champ unless there's 2 women's champions again. Championships, and I don't think they're doing that. But something like that, that's how you make the brand interaction, smoother and, us versus them type deal. They could even do that with Survivor Series matches, 1 or 2, not the entire card, because that would just be stupid. We'd be seeing a lot of like mid-card, low-level guys fighting a bunch of low-level guys from each brand, and no one would care about those matches, unless they were gimmicked or something like that. But I like the Night of Champions deal. I think that could work. Or even if they finally do bring back like not Starrcade. The pay-per-view, the WCW pay-per-view where they had the 2 cages, the 3 cages side by side or whatever. And all the wrestlers to this day still think they should bring it back. It'll come to me. Battle, I don't know. But they need to think of gimmicky type things like that to do with the 2 brands. 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year tops. I've also heard, though, that they want to do that crap again where, granted, the pay-per-view era is dead now unless the network goes away, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But I've read that they want to do 12 pay-per-views again for Raw and 12 for SmackDown a year. So that's 24. 2 pay-per-views a month. Plus NXT's pay-per-views. It's just, I don't know, overkill. But I guess they can run it. It's not like running pay-per-views. That's why they didn't do it very long on pay-per-view, because they were losing their butts. The network is something different, though. It's a different entity. I want to say other things that I've already learned about the draft. Supposedly, these are the 2 top guys for each brand. On Raw, the 2 top guys are supposed to be Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And on SmackDown, supposedly the 2 top guys are going to be AJ Styles, So he's getting a push. And John Cena, even though I read he is no longer considered to be the top guy, and he's supposedly getting like a reduced schedule now. He's obviously still going to be the top guy of the brand, one of them anyway. He's not going to be the face, but he's still the face no matter what they say. Just fine by me, though. He needs to have a bit of a reduced role. If he's really getting that U.S. title back, which I haven't heard anything about now in a while, even though I was hearing it all the time. That was probably his best stuff in years because he was actually working. But that's how he got hurt, though, too. So that's why I'm like, do I really see them doing that to him? I don't know. But he's been on top too long. He's got to start moving down the card. Or at least moving himself to the side. Other people's times are coming now. It's, you're not Hulk Hogan and you're not as popular as you think you are. And I think he's starting to realize it. No matter how he tried to babyface the hate and the heat off of him, it never went away. He could probably be the next Hulk Hogan if he turned face and said, it would probably start a whole new era. But he's not going to do it. But that has nothing to do with the brand. Or the draft, but that's John Cena. Whatever, man. SmackDown, it's getting released on the internet, so take this for what it's worth, that whatever town it was, Pennsylvania, is advertising Sasha Banks and Sheamus will be there, so the WWE is notoriously sloppy for giving away, the next month's pay-per-view results by telling you the champion is advertised for the following month and things like that. So if Sasha Banks is on SmackDown, either that's where the women's division is going, or she's getting de-pushed, in my eyes, because there's been all these rumors that she's now labeled as injury-prone and something else, and I can't remember, so I don't know. If that's really true, that seems a little odd to me, that she'd be going to SmackDown, but like I said, maybe that's going to be where the women's division is going to be at. I would assume, though, with this IC tournament, or not IC, the Cruiserweight tournament, that there is going to be a Cruiserweight title coming back. And that would be a brand thing. They're not going to have two Cruiserweight titles. They would have to, I don't know, they'd have to hire quite a few of these guys from this tournament. And some of these guys in this tournament are 5-star athletes, man. That's why I'm pretty sure they're signing some of these guys. I hope they re-sign Brian Kendrick, but I haven't heard a thing about it. He's got a great look going right now, and he was supposed to have some really great matches in that tournament, but I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. Here's some more advertisements that are being leaked, and these are the tours for SmackDown and Raw, except they can't distinguish what tour is what tour. But one would tell you, Dean Ambrose is still being advertised as the champion after SummerSlam. So much for him losing the belt at Battleground or Battlefront or Field or whatever the hell it's called, like supposedly the rumors are. But it doesn't mean this is true. But if it is, it's going to be really cool because supposedly on this tour he's facing Bray Wyatt, which maybe that's leading to something. That could be a really great feud. WWE Intercontinental Champion The Miz versus Cesaro, Randy Orton. Versus Cesaro. And Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. See, now I keep reading that Randy Orton was potentially going to get into a feud with AJ Styles. So I guess so much for him possibly retiring. Wow, that's interesting. And an update, the other leg of the tour has Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, The New Day. I really doubt they're keeping Seth Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns all together. But what do I know? But here's the tour one. These are the ones they specifically can't figure out what tour it is. But if Dean Ambrose stays champion, he's got the belt in the eyes that the WWE, it matters the most. That's their belt. So that would make me think this is Raw. And this is who's going to be on that tour. Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Miz, Cesaro, Alberto Del Rio, Enzo and Cash, the Dudleys, Becky Lynch, and Natalya. All right. Tour 2 is Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, The New Day, Sami Zayn, Luke Gallows. They can't be splitting the club up. This can't be happening already. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Rusev, Charlotte Banks, and Paige. Well, I know when they do these brand splits in the past, they would tour specifically with those brands. So how can they only have a handful of girls on each roster and still have a women's champion? I don't know. This is kind of cringeworthy when you think about it. Unless they're bringing up a lot of these NXT women, and if they're only bringing up 6, and it's only I don't know, man. This is I don't know. Like I said, I'm a past draft survivor. I don't know what to think about this, and I'm really optimistic that it's going to be anything whatsoever other than they're trying to press the reset button on their current era because fans aren't happy and ratings aren't great. And this is their way of trying to spice it up and get us reinterested. Well, anybody over, I don't know, the age of 10 has seen this already. So, and we're the majority of the people who watch this stuff. So, I don't know, man. I'm starting to run long. I just want to get some of this out, talk about the draft a little bit. I want to believe they're going to do something better this time. Like I said, they've done it once. They learned, hopefully, from the mistakes. But when you look at the roster that I just named, they don't have a lot of talent to be running 2 separate brands. I don't know, man. And there's supposed to be all this rumor of talent leaving over the summer and stuff like that. This could be a huge failure really, really, really quick. But I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. I know this is going to be the brand or the draft. Ooh. So I don't even want to tell you what that is. I know the draft is coming up here in about 14 hours. I'm doing this kind of late at night. I'm a little bored. But I don't know. If you got any comments, suggestions, what you think is going to happen, what you want to see, leave them in the comments. Hit me up. Oh, you little sub for sub bastards. I was wondering why my numbers weren't going up. And, well, granted, they're not going to see this anyway, but all you little sub for sub bastards, I probably deleted 14 of you tonight, so. But they run a nice scam, but they're easy to spot out because they only have like 4 actual subs, 4 to 6 to less than 10 subscribers, and I'm catching on to that game real quick. Because I noticed, I'm like, why did I just lose 2 people? I woke up today and I had 24-25, and I woke up, or a couple hours later, I was back down to 122. So I started going through my list, seeing who was these little sub bastards that I've been picking up in the last 2 weeks. I caught you. You're gone. But the ones who have joined in the last few days, I say thank you. I've had a couple in the last 2 days, and I've looked, and I didn't even know they subscribed to me, but they did. So I was just talking to them in my comment section. But all you new people, thank you for joining. Let's pray this is something good tomorrow, today. I might do a live reactions to it, because my hunts have been really boring. Actually, I did find something today, but it wasn't anything mind-blowing. It's just I'm losing the thrill, I think. I haven't had an oh my god hunt in a while. So as you notice, I've been doing a lot more of these. But I might do a live reactions. Granted, thank God it's not going to be on Raw, so it won't be 3 hours long, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we can chit-chat about it later today. Alright, if you like what you saw, hit like, leave a comment, subscribe. Come back for more. Thank you. Gracias. And let's hope this works. I want to see RVD, man. I want to see MVP back. I'm hoping. I want to see Kurt Angle retire in the WWE. Come on, guys, make this happen. All right, Mad Viking out.